Welcome everybody to Gratitude Yoga Day 14, Possibility. So if you have a block or a thick book or even a thick towel, grab that. If you don't have one, it's okay, and I'll meet you on the mat. So welcome everybody to day 14, possibility. Possibility. So I just want to start off with thanking all of you for being open to the possibility of this challenge and showing up for yourself every day. There is a tremendous power and strength that comes when you make a decision to show up for yourself and to step into a new possibility. It's just like the little acorn that has the possibility of growing into an oak tree and into the tremendous forest. So even though we can't see it, it's invisible. By planting that possibility, there's a possibility of feeling stronger in your body, of feeling more at ease in the mind, and more connected to the heart. I've been hearing from a lot of students how they're so grateful to themselves that they have this possibility to show up. A lot of people, I understand, have not been practicing over the last couple of months or even the past year since so many changes and the lockdown. So they're getting reconnected with their bodies. And I heard from another student how, he's showing up every day for the practice. He's 77 and he's showing up every day and regaining his health. So anything is possible. So I commend all of you and grateful for all of you for trusting me. I am on this journey with you too. Let's open up our hands, open up our hearts, and bring our hands in front, and we'll open with one Om. Let's take a deep inhale. And slightly bowing our head forward, honoring that space, that sacred space in our heart where possibilities grow. Honoring that acorn that you are nourishing by showing up today. Let's open up our eyes and open up our hands. So today's practice, the focus is going to be back bends, which is perfect for possibility. Back bends open up the heart, open us to greater possibilities of well-being, and energetically it opens up the body along with physically opening up the body. So we're going to gently move through practices that are going to support us in these back bends. And back bends happen mainly in the upper body, in the chest, and in the shoulders. So we're going to focus on protraction and retraction of the scapula. So I'm going to turn around and show you what I mean. So I'm going to bring my arms up. And as I do this, you can do this with me. Open up your arms into what I call how wonderful. And let's draw our shoulder blades onto the back as we draw our elbows back. And you can see my shoulder blades are moving onto my back as if I'm trying to pinch something in between my shoulder blades. So this is retraction. Now I'm going to bring my hands forward. My shoulder blades come wider on my back, and that is protraction. As I come forward, even more protraction. So let's do this together. You're going to inhale, draw shoulder blades onto the back. Exhale, draw your hands forward. Inhale, open up the elbows and see if you can draw those shoulder blades onto the back, strengthening our rhomboid muscles. This helps to support us for good posture. And let's come forward, hands forward. You can bow your chin slightly forward. Inhale, open, draw the shoulder blades onto the back. And hands forward. Fantastic. So you have some idea, may not look the same as me, but we're all working at whatever stage we're at, and we're working on creating more awareness in the body. So the postures that we're going to move through today are going to create more strength and stability in our core, opening up more in the shoulders and the heart space, strengthening and lengthening the spine, and in the long run, creating better posture. Good possibility. So let's come on to our hands and knees onto all fours. Have your block or a thick book to the side. So let's root our hands a little forward of our shoulders here. And draw your knees a little back from the hips. This way, it takes some tension off of our wrists. And we're going to do, first we're going to do a cat and cow, where we drop the belly, inhale, exhale, push the hands into the earth, chin to the chest. And let's do a couple of rounds of cat and cow, warming up our spine. With your own rhythm, faster or slower, whatever feels good to you. Connecting with the breath and allowing the body to follow the breath like a wave. Deep inhale and long exhales. Finish with your last round. Come to a neutral posture. Let's curl our toes under. So now we're going to focus on the upper back, just like what we did when I was demonstrating earlier with the protraction and retraction. So you're going to soften the space in between the shoulder blades. So allow the space to soften in the chest, down towards the earth, and your shoulder blades come onto your back. You might even feel them touch. So feel that. Wonderful. So we're going to keep that. And now draw the shoulders slightly towards the ears. Lift the chin. And now press the hands into the earth and expand into the back body and feel the shoulder blades open on the back body. It's different than cat and cow. We're bringing the focus more in between the shoulder blades. Now let's do that again. Shoulder blades come together. Soften the space in between the shoulder blades. Good. So keep that, and we're going to shift our hips back. Keep your chin lifted, gazing forward, shifting the hips back. Now walk your fingertips forward. Keep the chin up, creating a nice length in the spine. Bring your awareness to your lower belly. Tone the lower belly as you lengthen the fingertips more forward, keeping your chin up, stretching, lengthening. And now press the palms into the earth and the forehead to the earth. Deep inhale, long exhale as you pull the hips back and creating this wonderful length through the whole side. You can feel it in your side body, in the spine. Now release your toes and let the hips, draw your hips towards your heels, bringing your hands, let your hands slide back on the mat and let the hips sink into the earth. Stay here for a couple of breaths. Deep inhale, expanding in the back body. Exhale, softening. Arriving to your practice, arriving to your mat, arriving to your heart. It's a beautiful quote by Rumi that says, "Love is the bridge between you and everything." Arrive to that space inside of you that opens you to the possibilities of love connecting you, bridging you to everything wonderful for you. Inhale, rise up, and we'll come onto all fours. So we're going to come to our bellies. So have your chin to the floor here and extend your left hand out and your left leg and lengthen and reach. And now you can lift your head and release. And we're going to do the other side. Extend your right hand out, your right leg, lift and lengthen, point your toes. Beautiful. And release to the earth. So now your legs are longer here. Going to interlace your hands behind your back. Press the palms into your sacrum. And inhale, draw shoulder blades onto the back. Just like we did earlier with the shoulder blades coming towards each other, like they're trying to pinch a pencil in between. And inhale, from the belly, pull the lower belly in and lengthen up through the spine, lifting your upper body. Keep your toes pressing onto the earth. And if you can, straighten your arms, pulling yourself back. Pull the lower belly in to create more length. And release to the earth. Take your chin to the mat. Let it breathe it out. And we're going to do another type of Shalabhasana. Inhale, press your hands into the earth underneath your shoulders and create length in the spine. So push your hands into the earth. Create nice length. Beautiful. And we're going to lift our hands underneath our shoulders above the mat here. Keep the toes pressing into the earth. And inhale, lift the upper body, drawing your buttocks down and in to create more stability in the lower back. Pull the lower belly in. Inhale, lift. Beautiful. Now place your hands outside of your mat. Keep that length in your upper body. And now lower down, forehead to the earth, feeling longer in your torso. I'm going to press the hands into the earth. Draw shoulder blades towards the ears and roll the shoulder blades onto the back as your spider fingers are pressing into the earth. Now draw your shoulder blades onto the back as we did before. And lengthening forward with the torso, rolling your shoulder blades onto the back, opening up in the heart, curling up, toes pressed into the earth, draw the tailbone down and in. Now pull the belly up to create more length and strength in your spine. Press toes firmly into the earth, maybe curl up a little more. And release everything into the mat. Place your hands to your sides, palms up to the sky. Take a breath here. Beautiful. So Shalabhasana, which is what we're doing, is like a reverse back bend. It's a good way to help strengthen the spine and warm it up for other back bends. It's also very therapeutic. So take your chin to the floor, gazing forward. And this time we're going to lift the hands and the feet in a classic Shavasana. So we're going to begin by pressing the toes into the earth. Your feet are about hip width apart. Hug the muscles above the knees. Hug the thigh muscles. So, and now draw the tailbone down, activating the buttocks. As the feet press into the earth, inhale, lift the torso, draw the shoulders up and back, extend the hands back. And now lift the legs. And from the core of your pelvis, the energy moves out the legs. Hug muscle the bone, and from the heart out through the crown of your head. Pull the lower belly in, maybe you can lift a little more. And release everything to the floor. And let it all melt into the mat. Deep inhale, long exhale. Place your hands onto the mat. And we're going to come to all fours. Toes together. Walk fingertips out. Lift shoulders up. Lift your chin. As you lengthen forward, take the forehead to the mat. Lengthen through your spine here as you pull the hips back. We're not taking them to the heels this time. Feel stretching this whole side bodies here. Beautiful. Walk your hands back. You're going to inhale and extend the right arm up and thread it underneath the left. Threading the needle here. Let your head rest on the earth. Extend the left arm out. You roll onto the right shoulder as much as you can to create a nice opening. You can gaze forward or upwards. Wonderful. Let's do the other side. Open up the left arm and thread it through the right. Walk the right fingertips out. So try to bring that arm in as much as you can to create a nice opening in the shoulder. Walk the top fingertips out, gazing upwards towards the ceiling or straight ahead, whatever's best for your neck. Being present with your breath. And we'll come back to all fours. You'll take a deep inhale and bring the right foot forward. You might need to use your hands to bring it forward. And this is where you can use a block. So you can take a block or a book. Bring it inside of your right foot here. So we have different options. Some of you might want to use your block or a book. Some of you might want to use the floor, or some of you may want to bring your hand to your knee. So let's start. So if you have a block or book, place it inside your foot in case you want to use it. Let's take our hands to our hips. Your front heel and back knee, hug them isometrically towards each other to create a connection and strength here in your core. Hands to the hips. Have your back toes curled under. Find your stability. And now you're going to take your right elbow. This is where you can take it to your knee or take it to the floor or block. So I'm going to start with my hand on the block here. I'm going to bend the back foot and grab it with your hand. So you're going to catch it with your hand. Draw your left shoulder. Roll it back. And you're going to press the foot into your hand, drawing that shoulder back. So if you started with your hand on the block or the floor, maybe you take your elbow to your knee as you draw that foot back, opening up in this whole side body. Also, we're opening up in our quadricep. Maybe you can sink a little more in this front knee. Maybe it's a possibility, maybe it's not. And let's release. Beautiful. So let's take our elbows. You can take your elbow to this knee here for a forward stretch, or just take your hands and take your block to the side. Let's come to all fours. Take your hands a little in front of the shoulders, claw the earth, walk your knees a little back behind the hips, and come up to a downward facing dog. Place your feet as wide as your mat. We're going to take a wide downward facing dog here. Bend the knees, come up on the toes. Gaze in between your hands. Shift the shoulders up towards the sky and forward. Deep inhale. Breathe into the back body. And exhale. Push your hands into the mat as you lengthen through the spine, as you pull the hips back. Maybe straightening your legs as you pull the tops of the thighs back. Head comes in between the arms. So if this is too much for you, you can do this in all fours and come back like this, how we did earlier. So whenever we do downward facing dog, you can come into child pose instead of the downward facing dog. And you still get a nice opening in the spine and side body. Beautiful. So now you're going to bring your left foot forward, drop the back knee. Take the block inside of your left foot, hands to the hips. Again, root the heel and the knee into the earth. Hug them towards each other. As you do that, connect to your core, find your stability, find your core strength. Hands to the hips. So I'm going to take my left hand to the block, bend the back knee, and then catch your back foot. Roll the right shoulder up and back, drawing the shoulder blade onto the back here. And you can gaze straight ahead or gaze down, whatever helps to create more stability. If you want to take your elbow to your knee, then do that. Press the foot into the hand to open up in the shoulder. We'll stay here for a couple of breaths. And let's release. So you can take your hand here to your block or to the mat, or maybe you come to your elbows for a moment to open a little deeper in this hip. So let's bring that left leg back. Take the block to the side. Hands a little forward of the shoulders. Take your knees as wide as your mat. And let's come up to another downward facing dog. So gaze in between your hands, lift the chin. Shoulders were drawn by the ears to create length in your side body with an inhale. And exhale, shift the hips back. Push the hands into the floor as you push forward. And the heels dropping towards the earth. You can have bent knees or start to straighten the legs. And lengthening through your spine here. Take a couple of breaths here. Relax the head between the arms. And again, you could be on your knees doing this, pushing back like this. Okay? So let's everybody come down to your knees. And we're going to come to forward lunge again, taking your right foot in between your hands. And let's use the block in the same way. Hands to the hips, creating that stability, heel and the back knee, hug in towards each other, connecting to your core strength. Take your right hand to the block or to the floor and bend the back knee. You're going to catch the foot again. So you might stay here, or you might have your elbow on the knee. You go to the best possibility for yourself. And this time, we're going to press the foot into the hand like we did before, and then keep that resistance of the foot pressing into the hand, and then draw the heel towards the buttocks as much as you can. Maybe it comes all the way, maybe it comes partly. for deeper opening in your thigh muscle, quadricep muscle. Wonderful, everybody. Okay, we're going to release there. And let's bring the right leg back. Let's come down to the mat and clasp the hands, hug arms to the ears, lift the legs, and lift and lengthen. And release to the mat. And we'll come up to all fours. And we're going to bring our opposite leg forward. This time it's the left. So bring it in between your hands and take the block to the foot. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So you might start with your hand on the block. Some of you might have it on a higher level. You do, again, whatever's the best possibility for you. Press the hand into the block. And we're going to bend the back leg. Catch the foot. Roll the right shoulder up and back, getting the shoulder blade onto the back. Remember, our heel and knee draw in towards each other to create stability, rooting your knee and your foot into the earth. So pressing your foot into your hand, maybe you take your elbow to your knee, pressing your foot to your hand, and then keep that resistance and then draw it in. Drawing it in as close as you can to the buttocks. Try to keep your right shoulder up and back if possible. Do the best you can. Maybe you have your hand on the block. And release. Bring the block to the side. Let's bring our toes together. Walk fingertips out. Chin to the chin forward. And lower the forehead to the earth. Press the palms into the earth, pressing the earth away from you. Create a tone in your lower belly so you feel a connection in the core as you lengthen through your spine, pulling the hips back. And let's come back. Wonderful. So now we're going to come to Ustrasana, camel posture. So I like to use a blanket for my knees when I come to camel. So we'll have our toes curled under. Going to take a block in between the thighs here. We're going to use the block to create stability in our core. Keep the toes curled under unless if you feel very open, then you can have the feet flat. I would first have the toes curled under. Hands to the hips. So we're going to stick our hips out. So you either have your block or you have your book, or you can have a rolled up towel. Hands to the hips. Now draw the tailbone down and under, hugging to the core. We've been activating this core here. Inhale, arms up into our how wonderful. Now retract the shoulder blades onto the back. Hug the shoulder blades onto the back. Now keep the tailbone, your buttocks drawing down and in, creating this connection here and protecting your lower back. And counterbalance that by pulling your abdominal muscles in and up as you lift in the heart, gazing upwards, bowing, arching back as much as you can. And come back. And very good, coming onto our knees. So we're going to do this again. And this time, we're going to bring our hands to our heels. Hands to the hips, stick the hips out. Hug your block, drawing that tailbone down, or the buttocks in and under, Pull the lower belly in. Let's bring our arms into how wonderful. Shoulder blades onto the back. Now release the hands down. Opening in the heart. Lifting, lifting, lifting. Taking one hand to one heel, one hand to the other heel. You can keep your chin to your chest here. Squeeze the block. Draw the buttocks down to protect your lower back. If you want to release the head back, then do so. And expand in the heart and chest. One hand to hip, one hand to the other. Beautiful, beautiful. Back bends, everyone. That was Ajit, that was beautiful. So we're going to come to all fours and we're going to do a cat and cow to neutralize the spine. At your own pace. A couple cat and cows, and then we're going to meet on our backs. And have your block nearby. So have your knees bent, and we're going to come into a Setu Bandha or bridge posture. So we're going to use the block in the same way, in between the legs. Or you can use a book, it needs to be a thick book. If it's thin, it wouldn't work. If you don't have a thick block, you can have a thick towel rolled or don't use anything. And that's, you'll just imagine that you have a block and hold your legs in place because you don't want the legs to open. And when you have the resistance of the block, it helps to create more to the core energy, which we're trying to access in our bridge posture. So walk your heels towards you. And you're going to keep hugging that block. And now draw the tailbone down and under as you hug the block. So now you feel your lower abdomen activate. Elbows to the earth. And now inhale, lift the chest. And with the next breath, press the feet into the earth and lift the hips, hugging the block. And keeping this area stable, don't push so there's any pain. Keep it stable, hugging your block, drawing your tail, your buttocks down and in. Press elbows into the earth and open up in the heart. Expand in the chest. Keep the chin, lifting the chin as you press the back of the head into the earth. Inhale, open, and exhale, release. And we'll take our right hand to the heart, left hand to the belly. Take a breath before we do another one. And just let everything settle down. Deep inhale, long exhale. Let's come back. And we're going to hold on to the block again. Elbows, bring them into the side body here, fingertips to the sky again. Hug the block. And now draw your buttocks down and in, connecting to that core. Elbows press into the earth. And then lift the heart, lift the hips. And now again, inhale, expand into the heart area. So you can stay here or take your right shoulder under and left shoulder under and clasp your hands behind the back and press the hands into the earth. Hug the block. Inhale, expand in the chest. Press the back of the head into the earth. Take another deep breath in and release everything to the earth here. We're going to release our block. Let the knees fall over to the right side. Grab the elbows and gaze over to the left. Deep inhale, long exhale, neutralizing our back and hips here. Inhale, knees up, and let them fall over to the other side. And gaze to the opposite side. Inhale, let's come back up. Extend the right leg up, clasp the hands behind your thigh and press the foot up towards the sky. So there's a lot of hamstring and quadricep energy, strengthening and opening in back bends. So we're releasing here. And now let's do the other leg. Clasp hands behind your hamstring, stretch the foot towards the sky. Stay here for a couple of breaths. So I'm pressing my thigh into my hands as I resist, trying to root my left sit bone into the earth at the same time. And breathe. And release that leg. We'll come to a happy baby. The ultimate back bend neutralizing posture. Press the feet into the hands as you draw the feet and the knees towards to the earth. Trying to soften the tailbone towards the earth if possible. Couple of breaths here. Release the legs, release the hands. Come into Shavasana. We'll stay here for a few moments before meditation. Let the shoulders open, roll to the side. Hands are open. Feet fall to the side. Legs are heavy. Releasing in the belly. Releasing in the jaw. Melting into the earth. Taking a deep breath in, coming back to the surface. So you can stay in Shavasana if you like, or come up to a meditation. Bend the knees, roll over to one side, and we'll meet in a seated posture for just a couple of minutes. So once you're seated, if you like, you can lean forward and pull the skin of your buttocks back. You can even do that on a chair. Press your thighs into the earth as you root into the earth and lengthen through your spine. Feel the openness in the spine and in the heart and the chest. Physically, energetically. Place the hands on the thighs. Let the eyes be soft. Close the eyes if you like. And we'll sit here for a minute in our stillness, connecting to our heart as our breath draws us deeper inside. Taking a deep breath in, coming to the surface, rising to the surface, bringing our hands in front of our hearts in honor of that acorn that we all have planted inside, and nourishing and growing it every day. We'll come together and close with one Om. Take a deep inhale. From that acorn of vast possibilities inside of me, I honor the great possibilities within you. Namaste. So thank you everybody for joining today. Wonderful to see all of you on the mat. And those of you that are seeing the recording, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, day 15. No, day 14. No, 15. Day 15. I'm still in meditation. Day 15 is halfway mark, so look forward to seeing you all then. Have a great night or a great day. Welcome everybody to Gratitude Yoga Day 14, Possibility. So if you have a block or a thick book or even a thick towel, grab that. If you don't have one, it's okay, and I'll meet you on the mat.